When you go to the VA and file a claim, it's equivalent to filing a class action suit. Now, if you're going to go sit in front of a judge, are you going to take a little bit of evidence or are you going to take a lot?
Right.
And I've seen cases where the evidence is not particularly stellar. They're missing records, but because of the requirement for the rater to review all evidence and weigh it to make the decision, they sometimes win because they have a preponderance, or he who has the most evidence wins.
And that leads me to my next question. Because you've dropped some terms that I think we need to clarify.
Open ranks, march!
Preponderance of evidence. What does that mean? And weight of evidence. What does that really mean?
So when a rater looks at the evidence, they have to weigh things. What piece of evidence do I count more than the other? Okay, so if I'm looking at a claim and I got a CMP doctor that says you're at 30%, they don't make the rating decision. We have an agreement with the medical that we don't practice medicine and they don't try to rate claims.
Okay.
Because a lot of times they're wrong. I had a VA doctor told me I'd never get disability for sleep apnea. Yeah, right. Anyway, so we look at the evidence. Now you see a CMP examiner, maybe 15, 20 minutes. They're supposed to have reviewed your claim and the evidence prior to seeing you. May or may not have happened. Doesn't matter. Because eventually the rater who makes the decision is going to review all the evidence. But I have a piece of evidence from the CMP exam, and let's say that the examiner is a nurse practitioner. But your letter that you get or your DBQ that you get filled out by your orthopedic surgeon contradicts what the nurse practitioner says. Well, somebody who sees you for 15 minutes or somebody who's seen you for 3 years, I'm probably going to lean towards what they said for 3 years. So I can actually override what the CMP examiner says. Now, if they had reviewed the same evidence, they might have come to the conclusion that you're not at 30%. So again, that's still not an indicator whether they did or didn't. They may still come to that conclusion, but we look at the evidence and I compare, is it an MD or a nurse practitioner? Is it a general practitioner or a specialist in the field? Not only that, I'm going to look at the evidence that's provided by personal and buddy statements. So if we take my case with sinusitis, if I use my nasal spray and I take my medication and I go in and the doctor looks at me, he's going to go, oh, okay, you don't have a problem. 45 minutes or an hour later, when some of that stuff starts wearing off, it's like I'm trying to breathe through a sponge. Who's seen it? Well, my wife and kids. Okay, so they can provide an adequate statement to say, this is our observation of how a sinusitis affects him. So it's weighing the evidence, just like you do in a court case, weighing the evidence to see which is the greater probability describing the situation. Is it the doctor who sees you for 15 minutes, or is it somebody who sees you for, in my wife's case, 28 years?
Right.
Okay. Is she a doctor? No, but she can document. Yeah, I can tell that you have a headache. I can tell that you have a tenderness of the face. You have a purulent discharge because you're blowing your nose every 3 minutes, and you have crusting around the nostrils because you're scratching and doing that kind of stuff. So she's a credible witness to everything I've gone through.
So would you call that competent lay evidence?
Yeah.
Close ranks, march!